So getting into this, we're not gonna start it off like the YouTube intro. This is more so like what I'm saying, getting together for me. Um, I've been definitely growing, definitely been learning more, but it's just more so learning and just having that consistency with it when it comes to really gaining and making money in this. A few things that I want to say that I think I've noticed that will help my trading, and some things that I've seen that I can't implement, of course, market structure. That's the structure wrong. Market structure. Just seeing market structure, what I'm saying, that just allows me to, see the direction of the market, seeing which way it's gonna go, um, where I could potentially take the trade to, where I can see it, potentially find support at, find a resistance at, just different things like that. And when it comes to support and resistance, this leads to the next thing: break and retest. So break and retest because I've seen numerous of times where price will have a move like this, it'll come back and retest a specific area before continuing. Even something like this, you see, this was a level of support. Price broke under it, came back and retest, and it was a sell. So break and retest. So um, market structure, break and retest. Of course, time frame. Time frame. At first, we was taking our trades on a higher time frame, and we eventually got down to the 5 minutes, which I can say 5 minutes. I am enjoying. I am liking 5 minute time frame. The smaller time frames, because we're able to take a position on a smaller time frame and use what I'm saying, larger time frame correlations to what I'm saying, hold our positions longer or see if this level is a strong level, just those things. Especially using like a 1 hour, you can expect a move to be a large move, for instance, like this. And it's just using those things I had mentioned here: market structure. We see price is bullish, price is bullish. We have break and retest. You see here, there was a price break, and price came back to retest. Let's see. I'm actually going to do. Let's box this up, or let's not box this. Let's do this here, and now jump down to the time frame just to see how, like I said, time frame affected this position, how it correlated. About the 1 hour, you see, what I'm saying, it was a bullish engulfing. So this how price would have looked on the 5 minutes, getting in this position. You see a lot of bullish value pushing up. Get a pull back to the zone again. Price starts to push up. So just time frame wise, you see this is a uptrend, break and retest. And based off the 1 hour, we had this bullish engulfing candlestick. And this was pre, what I'm saying, our session time that we got in. And you see, soon as the market opened, during our trading time, continue to push up. So just using those three things, those seem like they can help my trading, or have been helping my trading. Another thing I've been seeing is like, you know, because I was just wondering, like, for instance, this right here. What about this point here? Was telling price to come back here before this push up. So let's actually do this one next. So we got that one there, and we can check this out. So we're gonna go to the low to here and just see what price is doing at this point. So actually, I don't think I've seen that on the lower time frame, but let's see. So at this time, this was price came back and retest that. Let's look to our left and just see what type of price action was going on here. This is one thing I kind of noticed and I was watching, but you see, this is that price point we was at, and we see continuous, breaks and retests, resistance, break above this level, come back and retest, break above this level, come back and retest, push up, push up. So at this point, I'm honestly not sure like what was that catalyst to, let price know to come back to right here. And sometimes it do be something like this. It'll touch just the tip of it and then go. So if we're doing using that, I'm actually not sure. But you know, we was learning Fibonacci for a while, and I'm pretty sure Fibonacci would have showed showed us that this is a reversal area. So Fib, does that. Like I've saying, numerous of Fibs where you know some levels are respected. Well, I won't say some levels are respected. Some fields are respected, and some are more so. You'll see price go. Well, I wouldn't say respected. I would say price would go to that point, and basically reverse from there. In this instance, we see that price, went much further than that field. Even if I placed it here, so much further than that field. And this, this whole move here. But I'm pretty sure if you did something like this from here to here, you see negative 27. Let's see if we did something from here to here, negative 61.8. So I'm honestly not sure, like, what about this was like, okay, this is the field. This field right here isn't the one. This field isn't the one, but it's using this one. And, I really just, was learning field, didn't get too deep into it. I did like it as far as, you have an area to be watching for when it comes to take profit. But I also like, what I'm saying, what I'm doing now when it comes to like, I can see how it can be implemented. So let's just say, for instance, well, it wouldn't have happened like that. I was gonna say we was in a trade like, well, I ain't gonna mention, but because my main thing is really just finding, that strategy, that way of trading that's best for me. You know what I'm saying? Uh, just to bring in that consistency of profit, of profits, you know what I'm saying, of growth. And of course, I understand that, it's something I have to gain as well, as far as, the consistency. There's things like that. Even this right here. So just going off market structure, I know that price is likely to continue higher based off this pullback that it did here. And that just really came just with experience, but I can't completely be wrong. I can't completely be wrong. Uh, yeah, I just want to find the best way. I definitely would say learning or coming back to revisit. You know what I'm saying? And then again, it may just be a thing where I'm not just sticking with something long enough for it to, be. Of course, you know what I'm saying. You can start to tweak things to to your style, personal style. But just like a foundation, just sticking with a foundation. Going back to revisit Doyle's course, so when it comes to market structure, supply and demand, just his is really simple, like the simplicity of it, support and resistance, supply and demand. You know what I'm saying? Real simple stuff. So yeah, like something like this. You see how this was, a small little structure point, price break above. You see this area is where price came back and retested before pushing up. And that's on the 15th. Let me actually draw this and go down to a lower time frame so we can see how this looks. Yeah, because this right here was the break instruction. Probably did all this. This was the last, point of that downtrend. And price never came back to retest it. You see, it came back and retested and immediately, what I'm saying, going up. So there's just something as far as, what I'm saying, market structure, break and retest, and time frame correlation that I'm saying. Because this is, a 5 minute zone, but it was greatly, what I'm saying, impacted or taken on a 1 hour. And you know what I'm saying? Of course, I was looking to be in and out of the markets, but if I can catch an entirety of a move or a good portion of the move, like something like this, for instance, if we was to get in this position, I wouldn't be mad at myself to hold this position, what I'm saying, all the way to the end of my trading window, or even longer than that. You know what I'm saying? Would have been, what I'm saying, greatly uh, satisfied with, holding to that point here. Of course, you see price moving higher, and it's like, oh, I could have held it. Like that's a thing. Like you do experience that at times, but just being able to catch, what I'm saying, a move, what I'm saying, like that is something that we're looking to, what I'm saying, to really get to. Let's see this one for instance. You see how we get this wick here, and it's the one. I'm sure it's some type of level here. It's the one that I just did. I'm pretty sure it is. So we got this diamond trend. Let me see here. Downtrend. You see it pretty much go above, but we can still say that's resistance. Resistance. You got to break above. You come back retest and continuation. So this right here, seeing something like this can definitely be like an A1 setup. And you see it happen during that New York session as well. So this can be an A1 setup, what I'm saying, where you're looking to hold the position much longer, maybe take a larger lot size position. You know what I'm saying? You can target the highs just however you want to do it. But we see, like Like I said, market structure, it was a downtrend. Downtrend. I know this is like a minor one, but you see, it was a break and a retest of that area before we push down. So we identified it as like a nice area. And you see, price does this, it make a higher low. So you want to keep eyes on this area. Price come back, it does break above, then fall. We can see this resistance, like I said, creates a higher low. It starts to push up, higher low, come back and retest this high here, higher low, came back to this high, found resistance, but ultimately came back to this area here before pushing up. So that's definitely something that I just noticed this and picked this up. I think even maybe today, looking at the charts earlier. You know what I'm saying? But that definitely could be, what I'm saying, a great opportunity to take advantage of. And that's how you would know that, how would you know that, this your entry based off the candles. Um, we can honestly just go based off the like the wick, like the rejection of it. You know what I'm saying? The wick rejection. Let's go to confirmation. So basically just, what I'm saying, come at retest. It's the wick rejection. And you can, go from there. Of course, somebody else maybe would have got that more of that confirmation here. But even if you enter the trade here, right, and you did get this push up, that's more of a confirmation for you to, what I'm saying, continue going. And you see once the move go, there's really like not much of those support resistance or breaking retest for your interest to know that, price is gonna continue going or how you should want to manage that risk. But if you did take the strategy of, the price just, you see it doing something like this and pushing up and then begin to break above, then you can take this trade. So just real quick, I was thinking how I just watched a video when it was talking about, video games, you have first person, third person, like how would things look from a second person perspective. And it just came to me that, first person is basically, what I'm saying, from your perspective, the individuals. Second perspective, perspective is like a separate being a separate individual viewing the first individual, or you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I say the first individual. And I was just thinking like the third perspective is more so when the two becomes one. And I say this because the first person is really like seeing from the eyes. Like I honestly can't see myself unless I look in the mirror. But once it comes to, but second person, you are able to view the individual. But when the two come together, I guess like one mind, one type of seeing, one type of vision, you're having that first person view and also having that second person view at once. So it's almost like you're observing yourself from a distance, from afar, not from like the individual eye, and able to, you know what I'm saying? If that just makes sense. But I'm guessing like if I wanted to use it to my advantage or just, just try to see if that will help me, just using the type of wording I should do, or in this case, you should do. So you should do You should do. It sounds like I'm speaking a different language, but you should do. You should do. That's pretty cool. You should do. Uh, is is a secondary or not secondary, second person view, and it's like that entity or individual viewing. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to, hmm, but I'm wondering, like when it comes to the third person, they use words like he, mm, like he. I guess I can see he as being like, that person who you are, you know, attaining to be or striving to be. Like he, like so basically, like you could talk to yourself like this. Well, when I viewed this, I didn't see this as being, what I'm saying, this setup, or I did view this or being this type of setup. Like I identified this. So like, okay, well, you should continue to see these setups because he is profitable based off these setups. And he is like, what I'm saying, when I say he, I'm more so speaking of the version of myself who has went through the trial of basically where I am now, who went through the trial of, what I'm saying, becoming profitable, becoming consistent, learning your strategy, what I'm saying, really honing in onto it and, what I'm saying, using it at its, best ability. Like he would take this setup. And it's kind of like an interesting concept, more of like a deeper concept, what I'm saying, if you want to think of it like that. Yeah. But he, like I said, when I say he, I'm speaking of, what I'm saying, the profitable self, the self who is what I'm saying, is profitable, who already went through this stage that I'm currently am in now. And you have to continue to, what I'm saying, be on this journey so that you can get to where he is. But yeah, just seeing those things, that's like a small time frame, like you see, and even look at this. This is like a 1 hour, basically saying the same thing that I was saying. You see, you get this here, get break, come back retest, break, come back retest. And you see, it shows up again. Let's go back. So that's the small one. This is right here. And this is a 1 hour because on the 5 minute you really don't see it. But based off it being like the area, you probably want to look at it from like that 1 hour, like I was. I mean, not 1 hour, but lower time frame. So seeing these small levels like this, basically, this is like a correction. We see that this is the uptrend, and this is a correction. You see, price starts to break above, and you wonder, okay, where can price come back and pull it back in? Of course, you have this level here, and price does pull back and push up, but it came deeper in it and came to this point before pushing up. So based off like the time frame correlation, like you mentioned, and this and using you as like being a critique to yourself, and I think that's what it is because I always had like that first person view, you have to you can critique yourself from like a different perspective. But yeah, you see, like I mentioned, like this, that downtrend really just take this one candle. You see that one candle, it's obviously like a pullback. You know, so I look at things like this. You look at the characteristics. You know, see wicks. You see it's a different candle. You know, one bullish, one bearish. You know what I'm saying? And you get a push, right? Push above. You know what I'm saying? Comes back, taps. Like I said again, those wicks. This is just one of those things where you see it in this area, and that confirmation just, you know, it's really those wicks, you know, price pushing away from it. This honestly, what I'm saying is, you know, that confirmation for it. Yeah, they see structure start to change. So that's interesting. So this might be something that we identify. And wow, I honestly didn't even notice this, man. I'm looking at this on SPX. You know, I trade gold. So being able to see this on the different asset classes, you know, interesting. I think I'm doing a bar replay, and yeah, this ain't like a price. So let's see if we can find more examples of that on the uptrend, then find, you know, something on the downtrend. So have this uptrend here. See here. This is the lowest point for it. Yeah, there it go again. But you do see it, you know, wick down, wick down here. I'm not sure why I did that during this day. We definitely see if we can look at that if it allows to go back this far. So this is basically more so like that support then to use this level. But it took in that trade. Let's see if it let it go back this far to see that. Okay, it does. Oh, so my thing is when taking this, what I have identified this as that area. So this is a 5 minute. Like, let's check it out. It puts down real deep in the dome. You know what? I think it did this one right here instead. Of course, I got it here, but it really looked like it was this right here. If we was going, I really, yeah, if I really was going based on what I was just saying, because you see this is downtrend. You get a pullback, you get a push down. See price come back, push up basically above this area. All right, low, push away, makes its way back, and then continue. Hmm. But my thing is, you know, being able to identify that and see that, just knowing that, you know, this is the low. So I guess in this instance, like you could have figured this is the low just based off this at this price point again, and you seeing it starting to change that structure. You know, it did it here again. Push down. This right here, we pull back, push lower, break above, pushed up, but it came back to this one. Damn chair. So you just gotta be mindful of it though. About the polygons for restroom. Sometimes when I use the restroom, it's almost like I'm discovering something, or you know what I'm saying. But I had to go real quick. Yeah, so it's basically like a strategy, or basically something I just been seeing. And this is more so like and you see you can come back and retest it again, pardon me again. You see it here. So we just gotta see how consistent it is. And this really like I'm seeing this more so at the start of a trend of, basically the reversing. Because there was a down trend, you see this happen, part started to push up. So see price is pushing down here. Let's see if we can find that set up here. So in this situation, you see price is pushing down, pull back, push down. So we would use this point here. If we was going based off that. Okay, so what I'm saying, if that wasn't that, I do see this probably being like a supply zone. As you see, this is, I mean, pardon me, not supply zone. I get them mixed up with time demand zone. Because you see aggressive buying happen from this point. Of course, we marked it up, price pushed all the way through to this area here, to this candle, then started to push up. It did come back to this point here. Could have got a quick entry, but that was, pretty much outside of our trade window though. Yeah. There it is again. So I was just saying, how could I, capitalize off this? So I see it. There's a pullback. You see this that point and price breaks above the area. So you draw it, stretch it out, breaks on the resistance. It comes into our trading time, reject, and it just goes. It's right here. Push it down. Still, retest it. Yeah. So that actually may be areas or zones that we start to look at, key points that we can look at. Uh, Definitely once we start doing it, we're gonna start the back testing it, you know what I'm saying? Doing it from there. So just looking at this one here, you see that's that point right here. You see I was, pretty much hovering over it. You can stretch it out right here. You see it come back to it here. But I was just gonna say, if you was to get in a position here, of course you could have put your stop loss above, here. But the, real safest bet would have been above, this high here. See, price did get above this point. We pretty much identified it as like liquidity grab. Can't grab liquidity, immediately went down for the sale. Came back to this area again later on in the session, and then continue for the sale. I'm actually about to get ready to back test it just to see how this strategy works, during like some actually price forward testing. Or not forward testing. We'll get the forward testing, but like I said, back testing. See it over here. There. Look at that right here. So it seems like what I'm looking for to like classify this. You see how we had this pullback and this was the low. If the next candle goes below that low, that's how we identify it. It's pretty much the same low. We didn't put it down even much further, but it did push under. We see, price came back to the area during the trading time. Get you a buy. see. Yeah, let's see if I can eventually come back to this point. Let me see. It does come to it, but it just continued to sell back. So that's why I say market structure come in because getting in this is still bearish. So you'll be looking for one that uh, this is it here. Retip. Let's see. Came pretty close to it. Didn't touch it. Came close to it again. Didn't touch it. So you had to be versatile when it comes with yeah, yeah. Because not allowing it to just be too clouding your vision. Because we do see something like this. There was like a break and retest here for that. See for here. In this case, it would have been. So it looked like it could have been this low, but based on how I'm doing, it would have been at this point here. Okay, so maybe I know I was looking at it as far as it breaking above price, but I see this is the setup. It doesn't break above price. It makes a lower high. Break under, reject, reject. Maybe just maybe. Let's see here. And this is pretty much that right there. That 1 week. Basically being flexible with it as well. You see, break retest here. So it's starting to get a little. Let's see if we can back test this. So we have the market structure. See uptrend, uptrend. Had this pullback. Uh, with the pullback, we see that we got breaking retest, continue higher. Currently at this resistance here. Uh, Pretty much still have this position. Or just, some SPX being bullish. So, yeah, still got to be bullish. But let's see what's something in this that kind of just tells us that, market structure has changed and we should be looking for sales instead. Let's take a look. Something that we would have been looking for is mainly or more so like you see how this break and retest kind of failed and then pushed up. So that maybe be a sign that price is gonna continue to push hard. So let's actually click through this and let's get it to 6. So 5. Now see it. Yeah, still pushing up. So let's come to it and see what's going on. So it's here. Pretty much look like keep that bias as far as going higher. Continue for the buy. But let's see what we can get for opportunity to, what I'm saying, catch that buy. Let's see a price, what I'm saying, come back to this point here because this basically the area that I was, this strategy based I was talking about. Do see you get a break retest here, but let's see a price actually come back to retest it. All right, market open. We actually starting to push above this high. So it does look like we got great retest. And my thing is how far we can take this back. If we took this position, is this a 1-to-1 or what is this? Let's go. So here, target here, stop loss. There's not a 1-to-1 for this. I mean, it pretty much already retested, but it's just if it comes back to the point again. But if I do see it still being bullish, it can, break above this. That's just the thing with that. So let's actually do that. Let's put this under the zone. Don't put this above here. Go back. Stop losses here. Take profits here. Okay, immediately to if this be another setup for us to get in for the buy, let's give it a try. So the buy here, stop loss. We're gonna put it right back under this low because it's breaking under. We're just, wrong in that trade, and we now targeting I think we can still target here. Let's target this line. Okay. You see, we got stopped out twice, so it look like it's about to go. Hmm. So allowing the stop loss to breathe and putting it under here, it would have worked for us, which is, really like your safest bet where you want to place a stop loss. Of course, we had this here, but we also had this support here. So we just had to be open and flexible to trade that. Like I said, it came to the support, and then started to go. Pushed a little bit further than, where we were there. This is pulled back. So pretty much got this one early. Could have waited for that. Come back and retest it again. So that was should have waited for the retest. Then got in, stop loss under here. We do see it went to that point. Let's see if it comes down here because it looks like it's getting some volume on this sale. Basically got to break retest. Let's see what their ratio is. So we just go to here. So it can't be a one. If I go for that, it's gonna sell. Take profit. And you see we came to this point. We can get for a back here. We're gonna long it. And I was gonna say you can take the low on the lot size, but I'm not gonna load it up. I am just risking more though. I'm gonna aim for this high. Let's see. Let's see. Could bring this higher. But you know, so low to it, like, you know what I'm saying? Let's do it there. Stop that. Team for the sale. Okay, so we see we did take it down here. We could have took that trade to this point. It did, but it didn't hold us that you know, for a continuation for the buy. You know what? I was wrong. Or you were wrong. And I'm telling you where you were wrong at. So price came to this high, didn't break above. It came back and resisted it. So solely off that, that should have told us that maybe this buy here wouldn't, be as profitable or, you know what I'm saying, likely to happen, as you see. So is this going to continue for the sale? Since it's done that, we did break under this low. Since we broke under this low, we are more so looking for where price can come back and retest. Of course, here's like the area that I'm looking for. Okay, so it didn't come in, but again, just being, flexible with the market. You see this is a resistance here. Price came once, twice, three times before it got that drop. Even though we was viewing this one, you see we had this one as resistance, some multiple times. So just had to be flexible with it. Continue to push up. So let's see what it's went. But you can hear it push up. This is an interesting concept. Definitely have to continue to give it more of my attention, and how we can, capitalize off of it. So I'm just gonna end the video here, and we'll pick it up at a later time.